Hello, gentlemen. Sorry I wasn't ready for that. I've been listening to you and doing things on this side. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to express my concerns and questions more so. I have got hurt quite badly in the market, and I unfortunately did not follow Mr. Chapman's advice as I should have. However, after further looking into my investments, I found out without my knowledge that I have a penalty if I was to withdraw my funds from the market without knowing this at the get-go, and that I'm... Wait.
Kevin, put the call on hold and continue.
Hello?
Yeah. Kevin, is that coming from your end? Yeah. Kevin, kill the phone. All right, let's move on to Melissa. Put him back on hold. Melissa in New York. Hello, Melissa.
I appreciate your consideration, gentlemen, and your time. The reason for my call is that I have been privy to inside information concerning the Wall Street bailout, in which I have been trying to bring to light that the firms that have been receiving taxpayer dollars have essentially thwarted legislation which should have assisted the taxpayers and the investors of this country. I essentially right now am sitting in a hotel room. I've been using a laptop downstairs because my PC, my printers, my apartment is completely under siege. I tried to bring this to light last year, and I was thrown into, let's just say, a psychiatric ward. I have been completely retaliated against. I don't want to sound as if this is insane, but I've been dealing with insanity. This has to do with the Federal Reserve and the fact that they gave funds to the Wall Street firms that are now having record profits, and meanwhile the middle class and the working poor are struggling.
And Melissa, how does this tie in, you going against the Fed and what they've been doing, to you being in a hotel room? I'm missing the bridge there.
Missing the bridge is the fact that I do not feel safe. I do not feel safe at all. I have legitimate medical conditions, and they were essentially ignored, and I have essentially been under attack.
Okay. I don't know if this is making any sense to the listeners. Melissa, subjects such as this, I'd like to ferret out and get the facts.
Okay. The facts are that I was working for a prominent Wall Street firm where I was working on an assignment where there was going to be, on October 31st of 2008 of last year, Wall Street firms who provide North America equity research reports to the public and to the investors. The legislation was thwarted, and the legislation was enacted and originated in New York State. I have been writing to the representatives of New York State as well as to the New York State.
Okay, what legislation, Melissa?
It was the Global Research Settlement Addendum.
Okay, Bob, are you following any of this?
Well, I don't know what Global Research Addendum is.
Okay, just to give some essential facts to the point, it was supposed to promote transparency and accuracy, and also to have the firms have some walls between investment banking and research, and the conflicts of interest, as well as other items and disclosures to the public concerning any sort of affiliates, as well as any inside dealings, so to speak, should be disclosed. And
well, they're not going to do that because they spend a great deal of money getting rid of the Smoot, not Smoot. Oh gosh, it escapes me. The legislation by Graham in '98.
Well, the legislation...
To get rid of the wall between banking and the brokerage firms.
Smoot-Hawley.
Okay.
Smoot-Hawley. No, that's not it.
The
Siegel.
Glass-Steagall Act.
The Glass-Steagall Act.
There we go.
And they got rid of that. So they're not going to accede on Wall Street to anything that brings that back. They don't care what anybody thinks. I mean, they're robbing the American public blind. I mentioned earlier Matt Tabletty's new article in Rolling Stone. He kind of lays it out. And you know, I was on Wall Street for many, many years, and they're just a bunch of crooks. It's as simple as that. And the only way you're going to solve it, number one, is have a regulatory agency that does something that's not controlled by Wall Street. And the SEC and the NASD, and to an extent, the state regulatory agencies, they're all in the back pocket of Wall Street, the big firms.
I agree with you.
And all they do is chase down little guys, and very often on false and trumped-up charges that they can't hope to be able to defend themselves against. And then they have these arbitrary hearings with judges, which is like a kangaroo court or a star chamber proceeding. And if you ask for a jury trial, they want you to pay for it. And when they brought the charges, you know, these are civil charges I'm talking about. And it goes on. And they do anything they want. And they aid and abet Wall Street. I mean, naked shorting, front running, I mean, you name it.
If I could interrupt, the legislation was enacted in October 31st of 2003. This has been working on. The firms have been trying to comply to this legislation, and when it was time for their judgment day, which was last year, in respect to having some equal scales of justice besides just receiving taxpayer dollars, it was thwarted. It was completely thwarted.
So who is after you right now? Who do you perceive as being the henchmen that, what do they want to do to you? And what have they been doing to you?
Excuse me, that's not accurate. That is not accurate language. Essentially, my apartment's been under siege. My medical records have been under siege. My email's been under siege. I've written to the federal authorities. I have written to the representatives of New York State, and nothing has been conducted or even approached.
Well,
we are talking about billions. We are talking about the fact that this legislation was meant to assist the taxpayers. Why are we going to start new legislation? And when there was previous legislation, it was supposed to assist the taxpayers and the investing public to have confidence in the markets.
Well, and Melissa, you saw how the fix was put in, and it was mentioned the Glass-Steagall. The boys under the Bush administration saw fit. Actually, it was during the Clinton administration, and then during the Bush administration when it was actually came into full effect, that Glass-Steagall Act, anybody, the Securities Exchange Commission, the CFTC, they were just rendered absolutely impotent, and that was designed that way. And if you noticed, first up on the radar scope was Enron and their derivatives game. That was the first clue. The media focused all on Ken Lay and the business dealings, and of course, their company that audited their books, and on and on and on it went. But suffice it to say, you know, we didn't need new laws at that point. We just needed the SEC and the CFTC to continue doing their job, but they put the fix in.
Exactly.
All right. Melissa, we got to go to break.
Okay.
I thank you. I thank you for your call.